tonight's theme is, if you can see on your programs, remembering Rosa, but also remembering Robeson, Paul Robeson, our state hero in history. So we're going to have some remarks on his visit to Orange. We're going to have some remarks by Mindy Fullilove. Let's encourage her as she comes. Clap it up, clap it up, clap it up.
Hi, everybody. It is great to be here. In 2019, we were here to celebrate the anniversary, the 400th anniversary of the landing of the first Africans at Jamestown to be sold into slavery. So that was a very momentous occasion, and we heard some amazing music. It was a great, great, great evening. And so I'm going to talk a little bit about Paul Robeson's visit to Orange, which occurred at my house, and I'm here with my brother Josh, whose middle name is Paul. And his middle name is Paul because our dad met Paul Robeson when he was a young man, had just migrated from the South, as many did in that era. And Paul Robeson had a relative who lived next door to where my dad lived. And so we met him, and then, you know, Paul Robeson was one of the most famous people of the 20th century. And my dad said whenever he would go to his concert and go backstage to say hello, Paul Robeson would just call him over and just treat him with such respect and show his affection and his appreciation for the work my dad was doing as a union organizer. That's the kind of person Paul Robeson was. So my brother said, I don't want to come up with you because I don't actually really remember what happened on that momentous day, but there's one thing he does know about. Do you want to say what it was?
Music?
No.
Well, let me see. I know he sang to me, he sang Joshua Fit the Battle of Jericho. And pardon my deep voice, I'm not Paul Robeson, but I do have the middle name Paul. Anyway, and that was beautiful, they say. And my mom told me the story many times, and my dad. And of course, this is during the McCarthy era, so he couldn't get a job anywhere. People don't know how much Paul Robeson sacrificed to keep the integrity and honor of what he was representing as an American and as the Black American who fought for freedom for all people of all colors. So it was a pretty amazing and tough period for him to go through. So it was nice that my parents raised money for him by giving these, I don't know if you call it like a brunch or a lunch, and people would come and play horseshoes and donate. And basically the community helped hold Paul up when he was going through the roughest time of his life because they reneged his passport. They canceled his passport. But anyway, so he also sang to me in Russian and Chinese, they say. And I wish I could have it all on video because what can I say? I'm anointed.
So, yeah, there was a whole committee of people in Essex County, Orange, around New Jersey that, we said, Paul Robeson is our native son, so let's organize some concerts. And they went to churches and union halls, all kinds of places, and tried to get them to be venues for Paul Robeson. But what would happen is the FBI would come behind them and would tell the churches, if you let Paul Robeson sing here, you'll lose your nonprofit status, or other things, ways in which the FBI would destroy them if they let Paul sing. So he was just forbidden to have a career, and they'd taken his passport so he couldn't go overseas. This is the most famous person in the 20th century that they're treating him this way. So my parents and this committee organized this barbecue, they called it the Homecoming Barbecue, in our backyard. And he came, and it was amazing. And I was a little bit older, so I remember a little bit about how amazing it was. And you can see a picture of me with my best friend Sally hugging Paul Robeson, and that's me with Paul Robeson, very precious. I also wanted to share this photo of another event, which sort of the beginning of the McCarthy era in 1949. Paul Robeson was scheduled to do a concert north of Peekskill. And basically, the right wing rioted and said, the same way they did at the Capitol, and said he couldn't sing. So he went back, basically, all these men here are veterans of World War II, all the services. And they went with him to protect him so that he could sing. So our parents were there, and it was very scary trying to get out after the concert. So, people.
Yeah, they were stoning them.
They were stoning them, yeah.
Yeah.
They made my mom lie down on the floor of the car so she wouldn't get stoned. You know, people who stand up for rights, people who are outspoken critics of the system, people who have led this fight over all these hundreds of years, have had a very tough time. But they always say that the way they survived was because all of us as a community had their back. We stood by them. And so I think Paul Robeson's, you know, coming here to Orange was part of that, was part of the community just saying, don't worry about the man, we love you. So that's what we have to keep doing.